In a dramatic fashion, in the last half hour, in case you've just joined us, Advocate Meyiwa Teffo withdrawing as the advocate, as counsel for accused numbers 1 to 4, alleging harassment by the court itself, by police since the case started, and generally, he said, by the state. So this sends Meyiwa Murder Trial not short of dramatic moments since it started. We're going to have to wait and see if and when the 4 accused, 1 to 4, will be able to get another lawyer, another advocate to provide them counsel to represent them in court. That is why Judge Maumane said we are postponing provisionally to the 2nd of August. A lot of consultations are going to be happening. We got to this point just very briefly. We'll try and recap for you some of the major moments that happened. Firstly, there was a toing and froing around an application that Advocate Teffo said he wanted to bring to court this morning regarding accused number 3, who's feeling unsafe, claiming that his life is in danger at the Mampuru prison in Pretoria, before he was taken from the Sun City Johannesburg prison, the so-called Sun City prison in Johannesburg, where he's serving time for another case. And there he had different treatment. In Mampuru, he claims he's in isolation for 23 hours, given 1 hour's exercise. He cannot communicate at all with the rest of the world, including his own children. He hasn't spoken to them since last year. The judge came back and said, I've listened to all of this, but my point is following. You should not be raising this with this court. You should go and raise it with correctional services. I'm not the right place. As soon as the judge had made that ruling, then in a dramatic fashion, Advocate Meyiwa Teffo announced he was withdrawing as counsel from this case because he claims he feels unsafe. He claims there's been harassment. He's been harassed left, right, and center. He even claimed that when he was arrested in court in April, and we brought those visuals to you, they're well known to the country, he claimed that that plan was hatched, in his words, in the president's office, the highest office of the land, because he claims he's being labeled as a problematic lawyer because he's disturbing that plan. And then shortly thereafter, outside court, Silindelo Masikane, our reporter, caught up with Advocate Teffo, among other reporters, where he said within the next 8 days, he's going to hold a press conference where he's going to clarify everything, including that innuendo that he made, that he was offered money to get off this case. So a lot of things coming out today of this course. We'll try and unpack them as the afternoon goes on. I'll try and hook up as well with Silindelo Masikane. I understand she's ready. Silindelo, are you with us now?
I'm with you, Brother.
I'm just running out of breath here, just being caught up in this drama that has happened as we try to make a sense of it for our viewers. Just take us through. What did you see? I mean, what do you make out of what happened inside court today?
I'm just as gobsmacked as you are. I don't know how our viewers are feeling. I mean, I don't think any of us saw this coming. We were really of the view that we were canvassing a lot of the issues that were being raised by the defense around an application made to the NDPP, around the safety concerns of accused number 3. When we started proceedings this morning, Judge Maumane was, I think, quite annoyed at first because he was not up to speed in terms of the fact that jurisdiction papers, which is what we had actually had set this date for, those papers were never filed, and we know that Advocate Teffo had made a U-turn against that application, saying that in fact he believes that there's simply just no merit to this case, and then decided to instead write to the NDPP to have his to have charges dropped against the accused, his former clients now, that is accused 1 to 4. When we had then come back from the lunch break, we were now then expecting to hear from correctional services as well as accused number 3, which was also a surprise when accused number 3 actually took to the stand, because at this point Advocate Meyiwa Teffo had then raised the issue around his safety at the Mampuru prison, and submitting a letter written by accused number 3 where he details some of what he describes to be inhumane conditions. In fact, Judge Maumane conceding to the one of solitary confinement in particular being inhumane. remain. But of course, Judge Maumela, after listening to the testimony of accused number 3 and reading his letter saying this is an issue that needs to be taken up with correctional services and that he can't actually rule on the matter and would not entertain it any further. At that point, that is when Advocate Teffo dropped the bombshell that if that was the case, then he was going to withdraw his services, and that he has consulted his former clients on this, and what he's going to be doing now moving forward is returning full time to be watch brief for the Meyiwa family. He's been hired by Senzo's brother Sifiso to interrogate the issue around docket 375 and who it implicates in that particular docket. And that is when, of course, we saw
that bite where Advocate Teffo inside court made the withdrawal. Let's just take a listen to this.
As the counsel of accused number 1 to 4, I hereby inform the Honorable Court I'm withdrawing as the counsel of accused 1 to 4. I will no longer be able to proceed in this court based on the harassment that I'm receiving from the state and from the court. The accused have been consulted, and it has been agreed upon that based on what is happening to me, because I took it upon myself that I will represent them after I was approached, myself and my attorney, by their families as well as the Meyiwa family. At the time when I was approached, together with my attorney to represent accused 1 to 4, I was a watching brief on the Meyiwa family insofar as case number 2 is concerned. 375 of January 2019. I will therefore retort back to my role as a watching brief of the Meyiwa family as appointed by Sifiso Meyiwa, the brother of the late Senzo Meyiwa.
There, as you were saying, the Silindelo, sorry I had to cut in there, just trying to move it along. But I mean, there was more that Advocate Teffo claimed inside court when he made that statement.
Yeah, he made quite a shocking claim against the president, saying that there was a plan that had been hatched in his office to frame the accused, but also that he's been labeled as a problematic lawyer and is derailing that plan that was hatched in the president's office to have these men take the fall for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Let's take a listen.
The reason, Your Lordship, I can no longer be able to be in court and face you. There are serious allegations here, whereby you are accused number 1. Before I can even accept the case of 636 to represent the accused 1 to 4, there has been harassment that I should not be part of this case. From the police, from the NPA. I came into this case knowing what will be the consequence. On the 28th of April, when I was arrested before your court, Your Lordship, that was a plan, and the plan was hatched in the office of the president, the number 1 office of the number 1 in the country, that I'm a problematic advocate. I'm interfering with a plan that has been hatched, that my client should take the responsibility of the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, despite the fact that they were innocent.
Well, a dramatic moment in the Senzo Meyiwa Murder Trial. Advocate Meyiwa Teffo withdrawing as counsel for accused number 1 to 4 a little while earlier this afternoon. And the case now has been postponed with a provisional date set at the 2nd of August because the judge said the 4, accused number 1 to 4, now have to find a new lawyer to represent them in court. And also then there has to be consultation with the prosecutor and also with the advocate who represents accused number 5. We'll have to wait and see what's going to be happening there. And Advocate Meyiwa Teffo outside court a little short while after he made that dramatic withdrawal from the proceedings in court, he spoke to the media outside, including Silindelo Masikane, our reporter at eNCA. He said within 8 days he's going to hold a press conference where he's going to lay out all the evidence to back up his claims of harassment by the court, harassment by the cops, and harassment by the state, as he says. And the claims that he made, the allegation that when he was arrested in April, that plan was hatched in the office of the President of the Republic. Very, very dramatic allegations. Those we'll have to see and wait what kind of evidence he's going to prove. He's going to have to be challenged about those. Well, that's what happened in the Senzo Meyiwa Murder Trial today.